Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get free cash money. Drake won't have a lot after his lawsuit. Well, here we go again. We're in the middle of this album breakdown. I'm excited, thinking I'm going to be done by Thanksgiving, and then we have yet another detour that we have to take, but this one is important. Now look, I think when an artist of the profile of Kendrick Lamar drops a new project, there's going to be all types of people, media outlets, news, influencers, even this channel, diving into his tracks, diving into his lyrics, putting it under the microscope. And one of the things that people love to look for is shots fired and drama, because let's face it, people love drama. The whole rap beef with Drake is one of the biggest beefs in hip hop history. It brought attention back to lyrical rap. It did so much for lyricism, and honestly, it helped a breakdown channel like myself. So yeah, I mean, drama does sell, and drama gets people interested. It gets them through the door, and then hopefully over time, they appreciate the artistry, they appreciate the lyricism, and then on a channel like this, they appreciate the breakdowns. But greater benefits and backgrounds aside, one of the biggest dramas from the Kendrick Lamar album came on whacked out Murals. Now, we all know the lines, but if we need a refresher.
Shing proud irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down, whatever though.
Now, I think how you interpret these lines, and if you take them as a shot, it really depends on what camp you lie in and who you support. Now look, when a situation like this happens, everybody wants to jump in with their opinion. Was it shots fired? Was he actually dissing? I know a lot of people are like, no, he's not dissing. It's not a shot fired. There were other people that's like, yeah, it's still disrespectful. And I made this post on social media just asking a question, and people were running away with it, attacking each other, attacking me. Oh, it was beautiful. But I think the most important thing in these situations that people forget is that how you interpret it and how you think it is doesn't actually matter and isn't important to what happens next. We all kind of have a tendency to just project our values and our opinions on lyrics and our interpretation, and I get it, music is subjective. But what moves the needle in situations like this is how the artists themselves interpret it and how they take it. And that's the question we have to be asking. How does Lil Wayne feel about hearing that? How does Lil Wayne feel about those lyrics? Because that'll indicate how he moves next. It doesn't matter what the internet is saying. It doesn't matter if people saying it's not shots fired. If Lil Wayne interprets it as beef, as shots fired, or he just sees a slight in it anyway, then obviously he's going to respond to that. Let me remind you of First Person Shooter, when J. Cole shouted out Kendrick Lamar, saying he's a part of the big three, thinking that he's giving Kendrick Lamar compliments. Did Kendrick interpret it that way? Did he take it that way? No. There is artistic intention, then there is artistic interpretation. But there has been some breaking news from the Joe Budden podcast and a really just interesting insight, I think, into what Lil Wayne may do next. And we need to check it out and talk about it. So let's dive into it.
Hearing it, that I'm hearing that somebody picked up the phone, tried to call and see what the energy was. I'm hearing that Kendrick didn't answer.
Well, he told us in his letter, I go without a phone for months anyway.
Yeah.
Don't call my phone.
Yeah, but if I'm calling you rapper to rapper and you don't answer, it's like what Mark told fucking Flip when they had their shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm going in the booth. You have until I get in that booth
to hit
me back.
I don't want to hit you back.
If you don't,
go in the booth. Go in the booth.
Let's stay there for a second.
Are we talking about Wayne?
Yes.
Of course.
I'm hearing that Wayne went in the booth.
Oh, Lord.
Love Wayne.
Somebody.
All right, hold on.
With her feelings?
Pause.
You can't just leave us dangling like that. I heard that Wayne went in the booth. 2024 is not over with the drama and beef. Now, when an artist goes into the booth, it's not to make a collect call. It's because when that is often said, they have a situation they feel like they need to address, something they need to get off of their chest. And judging by Lil Wayne's tweet, you know what, let's pull up that tweet and look at it now and start to just get an idea of where Wayne is coming from. Man, what the fuck I do? I just be chilling and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me, love. Now, first off, shout out to a legend in Lil Wayne. I don't ever want to take away from his legacy, from his run at the top, from the impact that he has had on hip hop. You always have to respect that. But like I talked about in my Super Bowl video originally discussing this situation, Kendrick Lamar had an incredible moment. Kendrick Lamar was announced to play the Super Bowl. And Lil Wayne was upset, and he decided to very publicly express that frustration and express that upset, and saying that he feels like he let everyone down. Which, if you just take it on the surface level, it's like, okay, he's just letting us know how he feels. But if you step back and appreciate the greater context, think about it. This artist is at the top of hip hop right now. He's being celebrated. He gets announced for the Super Bowl. An OG artist, one of the greatest MCs of all time in Nas, what does he do in his response? He turns around and he messages him and he congratulates him. Lil Wayne, on the other hand, what does he do? He comes out and publicly, all of a sudden, by saying this and expressing this frustration, he takes a situation that's about this artist and he now makes it about himself. And he inserts himself into that artist's conversation. And trust me, there was plenty of press already running with it. The fact that it was in New Orleans, talking about that Kendrick got picked. Like, he could have just let the podcasters, he could have let the influencers, he could have let the media spin it, because again, media loves drama and clicks. And we also talked about how making a simple statement like that also just has a little degree of entitlement underneath of it, because there's no expectation that Wayne is supposed to be given the Super Bowl performance. That is an honor and a privilege that thousands upon thousands of artists who have been successful, who have had hit singles, will never ever get the opportunity to do. And there's no precedent that just because it's in the city of New Orleans, that it has to be a New Orleans artist. That is not the precedent for Super Bowls in their cities. And the NFL is a business. Kendrick Lamar is the top hip hop artist. He's what the culture is feeling right now. He's just bigger than Lil Wayne at this exact moment in time. Who do you think the NFL is going to pick and run with? But this response by Wayne is interesting. When I first read it, I was like, maybe he hasn't actually heard the song and he's just responding to all the internet hype that he sees. Maybe his circle is telling him that, yo, did you hear what Kendrick said? So he feels like he's got to make it sweet because he's on Wayne time. He's kind of like a Kendrick Lamar in that sense, where he just floats in his own bubble and exists in his own world. Normally there's more drugs involved than Kendrick, but anyways, I digress. I do think that, man, what did I do is such an interesting response, because again, there's no awareness there. There's no accountability for the fact that you're the one who came out and very publicly made this drama, made this a situation that people are discussing and talking about. And it's all of a sudden like, you know, you threw your hands up in the air in the first place, the spotlight's on you, and then Kendrick finally responds and says something, and then you turn around and go, where's this coming from? I don't understand. Like, it just doesn't seem like Wayne is really tapped in and thinking about the broader picture of the situation. But remember, yet again, doesn't matter how I interpret it. It doesn't matter how you interpret it. It matters Wayne's interpretation of the situation. And this is how he feels. So why would he feel that way? Well, let's go back and look at Whacked Out's lyrics. Obviously, in Kendrick's lines, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. That is not an open, direct diss to Lil Wayne. Kendrick is even shouting out and paying homage to Lil Wayne, saying he used to bump the Carter 3. So for him, it's him expressing dismay at the fact that, hey, I used to bump this guy. I loved him. And then all of a sudden, like, in my moment to shine in the Super Bowl, I only got Nas congratulating me. And then he says that he feels like he let everyone down. So in a weird, indirect way, now people are coming for me and blaming me for getting the Super Bowl. And my hard work that got me here is what's affecting him. But, of course, there is this.
Wayne down, whatever though.
And I just wonder if it's whatever though. Sort of like that devil may care. You know what? I'm just moving forward. I'm not going to let it get to me. Maybe that is what is upsetting Wayne's camp. Because it's like, hey, you should show more empathy than that. I don't know. But then you start looking at other lines and maybe that camp starts to go, hey, is there some indirect disses here? Is he talking about us? I mean, let's look at the lines right after. Won the Super Bowl. Nas the only one congratulate me. All these agitated. I'm just glad they showing their faces. Quite frankly, plenty artists, but they outdated. Old ass flows trying to convince me that they favorite. I mean, look, he talks about Wayne on this track. He talks about Snoop. He shouts out Nas. I even talked about the coincidence of Kendrick surprise dropping on a date that another artist already pre-announced and was already planning to drop that day in Ice Cube. I mean, no matter how you interpret that situation, that's going to be stepping on another artist's toes if you just surprise drop on their drop day. But there is this theme throughout this track of Kendrick being frustrated. And it's not just with the current generation. It's not just within the industry of current artists. There is frustration here with the OGs, with some of the rappers when he starts talking about legacy and he starts talking about a pivotal moment, you know, being signed for the Super Bowl and just watching as people really reveal their true intentions towards him. But for Kendrick, this energy is just like his Control verse, right? Yet again, He's got his focus on the top, and he's going to get there no matter what, and he doesn't care. He'll fire at anyone because hip-hop is a competitive sport, and it doesn't matter who you are. Kendrick has always been on Kendrick time, and he is focused on his higher calling. And this track here has a lot of that just control vibes, control authenticity. And it's no surprise that people are feeling a type of way about this one when they start looking at the verse and the lyrics and the things that he's saying. So for me, is it direct shots from Kendrick? No, it's just Kendrick continuing to be consistent with who Kendrick is. But are there lines that an artist can take and feel a type of way about? Absolutely. Again, that's on brand with what Kendrick does. So Lil Wayne in this situation is obviously feeling like it's time to start escalating. And we'll see where we go from here. I mean, in terms of Lil Wayne diss tracks, the only diss I can think of is Ghoulish, that Pusha T diss from back in the day. But really, if you go beyond that, he's never really been in a diss track back and forth battle like Kendrick. There's been indirects, there's been beefs over time, but Lil Wayne has never been known as a battle rapper, as a diss track type of rapper. That's not how he built his legacy. That's not how he got to the top. And it's not always in line with the music he makes. I know he's a huge punchline rapper and he's great with the punchlines, but it's never been the punchlines in a diss scenario, in a diss setting. So there's a lot of unknowns going into this situation from Wayne's side. Kendrick's side, we know how Kendrick is in a battle. We know how just serious he takes it, how he prepares, and it's almost like a militant type of mind, and he's playing chess with his opponent. And if Wayne walks into this, I just hope that Wayne knows exactly what he's walking into and that he's not disconnected from having a pulse on the culture, disconnected from having a pulse on things like his actions have kind of shown thus far. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep you updated on that. I know you guys wanted me to weigh in on that situation. I don't want to let that news story, that news line get away from us, especially with the recent Joe Budden information. I just want to make sure that if Lil Wayne all of a sudden drops a diss track in surprise, you guys keeping up with me don't get hit blindsided by this. You understand where it's coming from. And anyways, we can just stay consistent. But yet again, I got an album breakdown to finish. I got more work to do. I'm going to get back to that. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. All right, I love you. Catch you again.